So when I do my tours, I do get questions about what's the first tooth that I ever found, or specifically people are looking for megalodon teeth. So what I have here is the very first megalodon tooth that I ever found. I had been hunting down the Chesapeake Bay on and off for about 2 years, most of the time at Matawaka, and then the rest of the time going up to Bayfront Park. And living in Pennsylvania full time, that meant getting up really early, getting up before 3 a.m., driving down the 3+ hours to try to get to that beach and be one of the first ones down there. And no matter how hard I tried, I never would get there first. Somebody was always on the beach before me. And this one particular day, I didn't get up at the crack of dawn. I went down, and it was a blowout tide, and there were footprints everywhere. And I decided I'm going to walk the beach anyway, and I was just finding barely anything. But I saw this sticking next to a root. Well, it was a log, and it was sticking straight in. I thought, well, I can see its bone, the little pore structure there. I'll pick it up. And when I picked it up, I had found my first ever Meg. It's not the biggest, it's not complete, it's not the best, but this is the first ever Meg that I found from the Calvert Cliffs. So it'll always be something that I plan to have in my collection. I'm not getting rid of that one. The first Lee Creek Meg I found was this beauty. And crazy story on that. It was an April 1st hunt of 2001, and I didn't know what I was doing in the mine. If you've ever hunted down there, and hopefully we will be able to get down there and hunt again, the terrain is just so crazy with the dump of all the spoil thrown back into the mine. Everything's mixed around. You're praying for rain. I was just blown away visually. Couldn't really make out what I was looking at. There was so much stuff everywhere. So I came across a pile of what I know is now Yorktown, and I saw one of these cookies or growth plates just kind of sticking out of the clay, and I decided, well, I'm going to start digging. And like a novice, I really didn't have any tools. I had packed a garden trowel. So I started digging, and I hit a vertebra. And I was thinking, oh my God, I finally found a nearly complete whole whale vertebra. And I just dug and dug and dug and dug and dug. And then I found right next to it another vertebra, and I couldn't believe it. And then I found a couple more broken pieces of cookies, and I had dug about a 3 foot by 2 foot by 1 foot hole, and I decided, well, I just exhausted myself, and I sat down, and another collector came up and said, what you got there? And I looked back down, and somehow I had flipped this tooth out of that hole and had missed it with my garden trowel. And I looked down and picked it up, and I was just speechless, and I don't know who it was. And he smiled and said, that's a really nice find, and kept walking. This is just under 4 inches. It's nearly flawless, but I didn't even have a flip phone at this time. I couldn't wait to get to the payphone and call my wife and tell her that I had just found my first really nice big Lee Creek megalodon.